Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Double honors to our elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. It's a brother to mine from GMS Toronto, coming at you with another video. So I got this, I went and I got this documentary from the brother from the UK, through the elder from Texas, Yashawamba, brother Elder Yashawamba, right? But goes to show you the hypocrisy of Christianity and all the people that supports Christianity, mainly Vocab Malone. This is just another example of how bad this this thing called Christianity is, man. And it destroyed a lot of people's lives in the past, mainly our people, man, because most of these Irish people are Jakes, right? Most of them really are Jakes, and these nuns just did a number on them. So I'm gonna get right into the story, right? The Magdalene Laundries in Ireland, also known as the Magdalene Asylum, were institution usually ran by Catholic orders, Roman Catholic orders, which separated the 18th to the late 20th century. Sorry, they were run ostensibly to house fallen women. So these are women that was pregnant, out of wedlock, so called, because back then it was a big thing, to have a child without being married. So these parents would just drop them off at these asylum for punishment, right? So maybe these nuns can bring them back into the fold and get their mind right. But what they did was just abuse them, and a lot of them died, right? These nuns would take their children as well, and I think in the backyard, in one of the one piece of their land, they found like 80,000 skulls, right? Due to them sacrificing the children, them murdering the women, some of the girls, so it got pretty bad there. And this is a Christianity, man, right? But you won't hear Vocab Malone or any of these idiots that try to come against the men of the Lord talk about these things. But what they can't say anything about us, though, right? If they call us rapists, we'll bring up the Catholic Church and what it's been doing for the last couple of hundred years, right? The boy lovers, the Greeks that's in that place. They call us anything else, abusers. We'll bring up the Magdalene laundries in Ireland, and that's just one. Those are just two examples. We're not even going to go down in South America, and all those Catholic priests that's been raping little children and getting away with it. Okay, says here, an estimated 30,000 of whom were confined in these institutions in Ireland in 1993. That's when they really got the gist of what's going on over here. Was in the early to late 90s, right? A massive grave containing 155 corpses were uncovered in the convent grounds of the laundries. This led to media revelations about the operations of the secretive institutions. A formal state apology was issued in 2013, right? And the $50 million compensation scheme for survivors. They say survivors, man. When you hear about survivors, you already know what's going on. People are actually getting murdered, right? If you survive this, right? Was set up by the Irish government. The religious orders were operated the laundries have rejected activist demand that they financially contributed to this program. So these most of them are Israelite children, right? You can go into reparations, you can go into mass graves, you can go into fallen women, you can go into the history, because originally it was set up to help women, right? But they ended up murdering them. You know, and you can go a little bit deeper. You know, even if you go into those the Native Americans, Native children, and this is Christianity. Native children, boarding school. Right. When you go into this, this is another incident that happened amongst our people, or to our people. From the hands of Esau, Edom. So many children, the Gadites that they took and murdered these children, man. Queen Elizabeth came over here one time and took 12 of them back. Well, they say 12, but it's more than that. And then those children were never saw again, were never seen again. So it says the Native American boarding schools, also known as Indian residential schools, were established in the United States during the early 19th and mid 20th century, same as that convent. Centuries with the primary objective of civilizing or assimilating Native American children and youth into Euro-American culture, while destroying and vilifying Native American culture at the same time. So that's how they got their, the justification, justifying doing what they did. Right? Native American culture at the same time, a basic education in European subjects such provided. These boarding schools were first established by Christian missionaries of various denominations. So it could be Catholic, it could be Pentecostal. It really doesn't matter. They're all the same shit, right? Christianity. This is what they've done to people, while you niggas are still trying to hold on to this dead religion, man, and it brings nothing but death. Who often started schools on reservations, especially in the lightly populated area of the West. The government paid religious orders to provide basic education to Native American children on reservation in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Let me drop down here. Children were typically immersed into European culture through forced changes that removed indigenous cultural signifiers. So they lost their languages, they lost their they lost their identity, way of life, right? Most of all, they lost their families. And secondly, they lost their lives. These methods included being forced to have European American style haircuts, being forbidden to speak their indigenous languages, and having their real names replaced by European names to both civilize and Christianize them. The experience of the school were usually harsh and sometimes deadly, especially for the younger children who were forcibly separated from their families. Children were forced to abandon their Native American identities and cultures. Investigation of the later 20th century were revealed many documented cases of sexual, manual, physical, and mental abuse occurring mostly in church-run schools, and summarizing the recent scholarship from Native perspectives. So you can go down in here because it tells you about all the children, man. Like they murdered a lot of the children, right? They did a lot of things to these children. They were women, right? The Edomite women will pay for what you've done, man. Right? They did it here too, in Canada. It wasn't just in America. So this is your Christianity. This is the face of Christianity, right? This is your face of Christianity. And this is under the rulership of Esau, Edom, right? My statutes. In your mouth. Let me see if that comes up. I think it's this. Yes, this is Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Right? And that's what Esau did. Right? Let me see there's some more. Yet seeing that thou hatest instruction and castest my word behind thee. And that's what Esau did exactly. He took up the Lord's covenant in his mouth, the Lord's statutes and commandments, and talk about this is a godly place. But then you use the scriptures against the people of the Lord and flip it on them, and you destroy them mentally, physically, spiritually, mainly. Right now they're destroyed. Right? You took their lives, you took their livelihood, you took their family from them. So you cannot, reparation will not be enough. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, and slanderest their own mother's son. And Esau, Edom, that's what he did. He took out that brotherly covenant, right? And, he cast it behind him. Because our affliction should have been over a long time ago, but he has us here like those Egyptians and wouldn't let us go. So he has to pay for these things that he's done. Okay? These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou knowest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. Salaki, I just woke up, man. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Right, the Lord will do this, okay? Through Yahweh Shem Shai will send his son back down here to set everything back in order and putting these heathens underfoot, right? Because if Christianity was the truth, right? You've been running the planet for so long. You circled the planet over 10 times, man. You circled the planet over 10 times with your doctrine. And where's there's no savior coming through Christianity. It's going to come through the law, statutes, and commandments, and through the Lord's people, man. It's not for everybody. Like how Christianity will tell you, like, everyone that accepts is going to be saved. No. The men of Israel, man. Those are the ones that's going to be saved. So, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. As you can see, Christianity is being exposed as it should be, right? Because it's rooted in wickedness, it's rooted in paganism, and it's rooted on killing you Israelites. So all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to our elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and truth. Shalom.